Charmaine, and my guest today is one of the stars of Lifetime's new reality show, Preacher's Daughters. The show gives you a glimpse into the lives of preachers and their daughters. But today we're going to talk to one of the preacher's wives. I want you to help me welcome Miss Cheryl Perry to the show. How you doing, Cheryl?
I'm doing great today. How are you, Lady Charmaine?
Good. Well, I'm so glad you're on the show. Well, you might not know, but you're going to know now. I am a fan of Preacher's Daughters, just to let you know.
That's good to hear. I'm glad to hear that.
Yes, of course. We watch it every Tuesday. If I don't watch it, I'm DVRing it and catching up in the morning like I did this morning at 4 o'clock. So I got my Preacher's Daughters in. Got my Preacher's Daughters in. And I wanted to ask you a question. How did you find out about the show, and why did you even want to agree to even do the show?
That's a great question. Well, believe it or not, we were contacted by a casting producer. Our daughter, as you know, is a model in LA and knew someone who knew someone, kind of one of those things. And we got a call from a casting producer and said, we're thinking about doing this reality show, and we've heard about your family, and it seems like you would fit well, and would you think about doing an interview? And so we kind of just went along from there, did some interviews, production, and the producing team liked us, and so they asked us to be a part of it. I know the other families may have heard about it and then asked to be a part, but we were actually contacted. So that's how we did it. And one of the reasons why we wanted to do it is because we believe we have a story to tell. And, that we can say something and help people, and if we can give a peek into our lives and it would help people, gosh, why wouldn't we want to do that? So that's why we did it and how it came about.
Now, since you've been taping this show, now that, your taping season is over, but the show is now airing, how has it impacted your life?
Well, let's see. We've had a lot more Twitter and Instagram followers, that's for sure. and I think it's impacted our life in a really positive way. We've been just getting inundated with wonderful emails and messages from people just saying how, our stories really helped them reconnect with God, helped them have understanding, forgiveness. It's just been wonderful. So it's impacted our life that way very, very favorably and wonderfully.
Now, has it impacted your ministry as well since it's been airing, especially in your area where you are and where your church is located?
Yeah, we have, and we don't live in a very huge area. I would say, as far as our ministry, we've had a few people visit the church because of Preacher's Daughters, but not a huge amount, mostly through email and things like that. And I know with Mark, he's definitely been dialoguing with a lot more people on a pastoral level, all over the country. And so I would say that's definitely changed. But as far as our church, a few people have come because of it, but not a horde of people or anything.
Now, what was it like for you and your family to have cameras following you every day? Was it something for you to have to get used to?
Absolutely. It was a lot of work. Wow. We have gained such an appreciation for what it means to actually make a television show. Yes, it was a lot of work. It was very strange, and but then like everyone always says, you just get used to it. We got really close with our production team, and we really liked all of them. So it was kind of fun, and it was sad when they all left and our house was super quiet. That was weird too.
Now, with the cameras following you, did you feel like you had to kind of monitor what you were saying so it wouldn't go into the camera, or were you just natural and relaxed and whatever the camera got, that's just what they got?
I think a little bit of both. I think at the beginning, because it was so, who has that? It's so unnatural and just not normal. It was like, oh, I'm definitely conscientious of what's being said. But then as, the days went on, you just got more comfortable. So I would say it was a natural progression to be more comfortable and more real, I guess. Not that I wasn't real before, but you know what I mean. It just got more natural.
Now, I was watching Tuesday night's episode, and on Tuesday night's episode, you were having dinner with some friends, and I wanted to know, with you being leaders and senior leaders of a church, and we know we raise our children, train them up in the ways of the Lord, and they should not depart from it. And we all know from the show that your daughter ended up getting pregnant and having a baby. Did you feel among your peers that there was any judgment going against you and your family and your daughter?
Absolutely not. I think that's one thing about, one wonderful thing about having people who believe in you is there is no judgment. You know, there's love. And so when people make mistakes, love covers a multitude, you know. And so from our peers, we got nothing but complete support and love and understanding and, shoulders to cry on. And so it was a real special time last night that we had dinner with our friends Terry and Denise, and just reminiscing about different things about our kids, and because our kids have grown up and are changed and they make decisions. So no, I would say that more than anything, we were loved and supported by our peers.
That's wonderful. Now, with you being a preacher's wife and you and your husband both pastor, what was your reaction when you found out that Olivia was pregnant, your baby girl? What was your reaction? Because, the babies are real special. Of course, all your children are, but this is your baby, the last one to leave high school and to leave the nest. And all of a sudden she's pregnant. What was your reaction?
Well, believe it or not, I was out of town when I found out. So I had just flown up to one of my best friend's house up in, Idaho, and I just got there, and in the evening I got a phone call from Mark, and he told me that Olivia's pregnant. And so I wasn't able, in one sense, to process with Olivia and Mark there. I had to process that on my own. And when he told me, I just like any mom would, Olivia's life sort of flashed before my eyes. But now, Lord, what's going to happen, and how will this work? And I just felt immediately just sad for this to happen. Gosh, there's a siren going by. Sorry. I felt sad, and I felt I knew God was in charge of her life, and scared, and I just felt kind of all of those normal emotions that everyone would feel when a decision is made and results happen from that aren't unexpected. So I felt a lot of emotion at that time.
Because like some parents, did you live in the mindset that this would never happen to my child? It may happen to everybody else, but not to my daughters. Did you ever think that a little bit? And then all of a sudden when it did hit, it's like, oh my God, it was reality. It actually hit your house. Did you ever have that mindset?
I wouldn't put it in those words. I don't think that, it's like never say never, right? And so there's always a possibility of things like that happening. I guess I was definitely shocked, but I wouldn't have put it in those words, no.
Oh, okay. Well, not quite those words, but, just wondering. And I know on the television, everybody has cameras following them all at different times. So, you have a camera, you and your husband, and then Olivia has a camera following her. And not sure if you all were able to come back and say what all you did, because there was a scene when your daughter went to the hookah bar. Were you aware of that, or did you find out on the show when you were watching it with all of us?
I knew after the fact that she was going to the hookah bar. I was a little surprised by that. So that was definitely a surprise. I didn't find out when I watched that episode. I found out in real life when we were filming. But, that was a bit of a surprise that she would choose to do that. I was definitely surprised.
I love you. I was surprised. I'm not going to say it, but I was really surprised. And I know you guys were very surprised because you guys were planning a wonderful event at your home for Halloween. And like myself, I don't celebrate Halloween. And when your daughter said, I'm taking Eden trick-or-treating, and I could just see you and your husband's face. So what was really going through your mind, especially knowing what your beliefs are? And then your daughter says, well, I'm going to take her trick-or-treating. What was going through your mind as a mom at that moment and knowing what your beliefs are?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think I was I was conflicted because I understand that she wanted to do that. And like on the show, I mean, I really value her opinion, and she is raising her daughter. She's not my daughter. She's our granddaughter. But I was, I wanted Olivia to be with us at the celebration at our house, the evening. And so I guess a little disappointed that she didn't choose to be with us, but I could understand at the same time. So I felt, how you do, you feel two things at once, I would say.
Okay. Now, Cheryl, one thing I like about your husband, he said Olivia was going to be tested when she was going to Los Angeles to visit your other daughter, who's a model. And then she ended up participating in the photo shoot. Now, on the show, we saw your husband's reaction, but we didn't get a chance to see yours. What was your reaction when you saw the photos?
Wow, I was really surprised by that. I was like, their hair and makeup and what they were wearing. And to see, it was so out of character for Audrey, especially Audrey, and then Olivia too, to be like that. It was just like, geez. I think on my Twitter last night during live tweeting, I wrote, yikes. And that's kind of how I felt.
Because I didn't get a lot of your reactions. I said, I want to talk to the mom about that particular question. And see,
I was like, wow.
I bet. I would have been too, especially if you've never seen your daughter like that. And then before you know it, she's in pictures and then, wearing more makeup than she normally would and then having fishnet pantyhose on. So I'm sure as a mom, I know your mind was blown.
Definitely. And the hair, I've never seen their hair that big. So, yeah, that was amazing.
And now I want to know, your daughter that's a model. I know that the other girls went down there to visit her and to spend some time with her. Were you surprised that they didn't spend time with her? That she didn't spend time with your other daughters and she decided to go out to the club? Was that kind of out of the norm for her? Were you surprised to see that on television, that she chose to hang out with friends at a club?
Yes, I was. I was a little surprised. I was a little actually disappointed that Emily chose to do that because, her sisters made the effort to go down and be a part of her life. And then for her to not, in one sense, say goodbye to her friends and just hang out with her sisters, I think even last night in the episode, Olivia and Mark both alluded to something that we say as a family, God, family, friends. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, Emily put her friends before family that particular evening, and that was disappointing to me, yeah.
Wow, yeah, I can kind of see that too, and I see the other girls. But there was a little something I caught, not sure if it's a trick of the camera, but when they had, when the lady had asked her about drinking, it seemed like she kind of hesitated a little bit and then said was like, no.
I think that with that Sober is Sexy company, they really are like, I'm not sure about drinking with a Sober is Sexy company, but I know for sure it's no drugs. And so I think maybe the hesitation was, what is she talking about? Mm-hmm. But I can't speak to that. So, yeah, I know. I was like, wow, they delayed that, or that was an interesting, I felt the same way you did. There was a little delay there.
Okay. Wasn't sure if that was just me. And on TV, we see Olivia really having a desire to really want to grow in Christ, and kind of go past her partying ways, which is awesome. Are you at the point now to where you can trust Olivia again?
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, it's just been a wonderful, wonderful evolving relationship with Christ, and it's beautiful to see her walking out her relationship with him, and I love it. I'm super proud of Olivia's choices that she's made and decisions that she's made and things that she's said goodbye to and embraced. And yes, it's just been phenomenal. I'm super duper proud of her.
And before we go, what would you like the viewing audience to take away from your show?
I guess I would like the viewing audience to see that pastors, it is our profession, but we're just people too. And so we go through all the same things most normal families do, the temptations, the decisions, the disappointment when decisions are made differently than we would have hoped they were made, and just that we're normal people who love God and are really trying to glorify Him with our lives, and helping our children do that too. And so hopefully, just Preacher's Daughters will open up dialogues with families. I know we've gotten a lot of comments about that. Gosh, I've been able to talk to my kids, or I've been able to talk to my parents having watched Preacher's Daughters because of your communication. So hopefully It will open up some dialogue. It will just dispel some misconceptions about pastors and their families. And, hopefully the love that we have in our family will really shine through. So that's what I'm hoping.
That is awesome. Well, Cheryl, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show and just really opening up yourself on the show today, sharing yourself with the audience so they can get to know you a little bit better, because we see you on the show, but you don't talk as much as your husband do. So I was really looking forward to talking with you. Well, I just want to remind everyone to make sure you check out Preacher's Daughters, airing on Lifetime every Tuesday at 10/9 Central. Again, thank you so much, Cheryl Perry. And we look forward to having you back on the show, and we pray there's a season 2.
Wonderful. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.